Hey everyone, it's Simon from Higher Plane Games. Hope you're well and having a great day. Welcome to 50 Years, which is a game that does what it says on the tin. You essentially take hold of a nation and you need to make them survive for 50 years by giving them food, religion, and a good army. Now, this game to me plays more like a board game than it does as a video game, and that may interest people much more when I show you what's going on. However, what I will say up front is that it doesn't tell you how to play, it doesn't tell you what you're going to be up to or anything like that. You have the main game, which is to survive 50 years as a nation. There's also special versions of it as well, like a quick 25 years only, or different permutations. So at the beginning of the battle, all units use 88% of health because you're in a plague, or you can have the invasion of zombie chickens. So yeah, there's different little permutations to it. It's all good fun. 5 different difficulties. I'll go for easy just for quickness, so I can breeze through the early part of the game. Different factions have different traits to them. So Americans give you extra gold per turn, British people have extra wood and faith per year, Greeks start with a minotaur, Russians sell first, they don't build lumber mills. That means that you don't necessarily have archers, whereas Japanese people get extra unit dealing double damage, kamikaze-ish. French always run back. They're staying true to certain beliefs here. Celts are get extra faith per year, which can help them out with some stuff. You also got Romans and Byzantines as well. I'll start with Americans just because it's the one that gives you full range of everything, and it's one of the most simplest additions that you get to the game. So I'll take you around the screen so that you understand what's going on. You've got year 1 of 50, surprise. The gold that you've got is up here, and then the food that you've got, and you've got 1 piece of food for 1 person in your army, essentially, or your town. So I've got 1 peasant, as you can see there, and when you go next to it, you can see the cost for hiring and what they can do. And swordsmen down here, you can send into battle. You can send your peasants into battle as well, and they're called militiamen, or militiamen, sorry, and so on and so forth. And so what we'll do just for this specific page here is we'll hire a peasant, and you can see that they'll get an extra gold per year, so I've now got 300 coming in next year. I'll also hire a swordsman as well, just to defend ourselves. As you can see, as we're going up 1 on the hiring, we're also going up 1 on the food. Monitor there until we hit our limit. And I'll hit end of year. We're now on to year 2. Simples. I will grab another peasant there as well. And when we get to year 3, I'll do 1 more peasant. There we go, we're on 500 gold and stuff like that there. What you can also do at the same time is construct different buildings. You can see I've got a barracks here, and I've also got a town hall, and that allows me to build peasants and swordsmen. Chicken farms give me extra food. I've run out of space to be able to get more people in, so I'll build a chicken farm. That will take away all of my gold, and you can see that has increased my food, and therefore my army can now go up to 9. Forester's hut gives me more food and gold as well. And then you've got different things here, so churches and so on and so forth deal with faith, which I'll go into in a second. Stables are more around knights and stuff like that, and lumber mills are around getting wood into the world, and I will have a go at that in a second. Now we're on to year 5. I think I will grab a lumber mill. And here we go, we're put into a battle. So randomly, and it is completely at random, although it does build over time, you go into this battlefield and you have no control over the battle whatsoever. So the attacker is essentially a peasant, but I've got a swordsman, so you can kind of see that I'm going to be the winner in this fight on a one-on-one cause. And as you can see, you have no influence over the battle at all, apart from perhaps, and I'm still trying to work it out, the courage meter. The courage seems to tell you who's going to dive forward into battle and who's going to hang back. So you need to kind of balance your army efficiently. When we won that battle, we gained 10 faith. You can see faith is up on there, and faith can be used as another currency essentially for giving you healers and mages type things into battle, but also for unlocking bonuses essentially, for want of a better word. And I don't have a better word, so I don't have enough wood there. So at the end of the year, oh, we're back on another battle. I'm going to need to up my world quite soon, I think. Yeah, we will. So I'm going to construct a shooting range, because that's going to then give me access to archers. Now archers are hired based on wood, I suppose, because they need for their bows. So we've got those there. I'm going to also hire a second swordsman, because I'm a bit worried about our lack of awareness in the battlefield. Now, whilst all that's been going on, and I've purposely not looked at it, we've also got scouts going at and about. So each turn that they aren't blocked somewhere, scouts will move across one of these little bubbles. And I've now met up with Deal with the Chicken Devil. And that will basically give you a get out of jail free card. But it means that you won't necessarily survive all of the game, or it will take your soul. I'm going to banish the devil. I've never really bothered with that, to be fair, on any of my run-throughs. This could be why I struggle. Who knows? So I'll have another peasant in there. And there we go. Now I've got 2 swordsmen. I feel a little bit more at ease about winning some of these battles. Again, more faith coming through, and that's great. I'm now going to build a church so that I can actively recruit more faith as I go along, because faith is going to start to play a much bigger role for me in the future, and you can start to see battles are now starting to become more of a thing as well. And my scouters have now found a den. And inside there are 4 archers, so I'm not prepared to go into that battle just yet. So I'm going to leave that off. Try that. Let's bounce a year. Go for that one next time around. Now you can see I've now got an archer on the battlefield as well. Rather handily, stabbing people from behind. Now that's given me enough faith points, and I've now hit my limit. And it will open up this belief system, which is quite integral to what you want to do long term. So they run in trees, so you always have to choose the top one and then work your way down. So this one, Pantheon of Fat Chickens, lets you bolster some units in your army, and also gives you +1 to all chicken farms, food-wise. Peasants mine 10% more gold, and 50% gold at once. That could be quite useful. 3 forest huts appear for free. Each forester's hut gives +1 food. Great. 2 swordsmen will join an army immediately. Militia men will have 5 more life. That's less exciting for me. Cost of hiring units decreases by 50 gold. Interesting. I'm going to go for mining more gold, because I think that's actually going to help me more over time for longer. So I'm going to build a chicken farm, grab another archer, grab another swordsman, And then let's go for the archers. This could be such a bad idea. Oh no, we're right. Phew. So I lost nothing. I got a archer's thing. And now what you'll see is that the scouts will then start going down each of the roads as they go towards enlightenment. So let's end that year there. Okay, and then we'll go for a stable, which allows me to build knights, and you can see knights cost more, but they are stronger than knights themselves. Let's go for another peasant. Let's continue on. And so what I really like about this game is that the deeper into the game that you go, the more choice that you get, and the more freedom it gives you, but also the more rope it gives to hang yourself with, because you start wanting to go off down a path. Plus 10. Raises my so yeah, sorry, that just confused me for a second whilst I was reading. It gives you so much rope to hang yourself with that you're never quite sure, especially because there's no instructions, that you're going the right way in terms of how you're laying out your army, so to speak. Barracks. And so by kind of playing around with that as a concept, it's quite interesting, because you're kind of like, how am I going to do? However, there is kind of one thing that I've worried about, and that I give this game as a disadvantage, and it's, you may have noticed that the battles are completely hands off, and that works not too badly in the early years. It sounds like I'm off on some kind of weird and wonderful jaunt. Let's go cows. Shed. Yeah, I'm good for that. Like town. I'll grab another one next time around. And so when you go into these battles, as you can see, they're kind of, everyone's nice and spaced out here early on. But what happens is that there's a massive difficulty spike in like the last 7 or 8 years. Essentially, once you get past year 40, it starts to get really, really huge. And you may have an army of like 20, 30, 40 guys that you're going to send out onto the battlefield. But their armies will go from like 20 to 30 up to 70 or 80, literally over a 2-year period. And because you're getting hammered, you then don't necessarily have the resources to be able to keep funding that. And so when you play this through the first couple of times, you're kind of thinking, right, don't overextend. You play to your means, and then you realise that you're probably overextending yourself. But because there's no warning for that, you kind of get yourself trapped in your own downfall in a way, which is an interesting way to go about it. So I grab a druid there, as you do. And I want town hall, so I can get some more peasants, please. But you can kind of see early on that these battles I'm really overwhelming people with, and that's great, but it doesn't stay that way for long. Not at all. I've got enough wood for that. second as well. And our scout should be coming across something soon too. Oh, there we go, new belief. What should we go for? Let's go for that. Let's grab a knight. Let's grab a druid. Let's build a chicken farm. Oh, that was a good year. That was a good year. You can also see now I've got this turn into tiger. Druids can turn into tigers, as you do, but I actually find druids to be one of the most helpful units because they throw their green gunk from way, way back, and it's way powerful. Here we go, our scouts have now found a swamp where there's a hydra in. Go for those, and I don't feel like I'm ready for either of those. Possibly the Lost Mine, possibly. We'll wait, I think. It seems wise. But yeah, this is kind of how the game goes. There's not tons of else to really say. It's gentle and relaxing to some degree. It exponentially helps. Chicken farm. There we go, now we can have a Minotaur as well. Not that we've got that far yet. You can start to see each of the battles are getting a little bit bigger now, and we'll start to lose people soon. I was going to say, I thought we'd lost one there. We lost a swordsman that time round. So now you're going to have to start to replenish stuff. And we've only hit year 25. And so it's really from here on in where shit hits the fan. I can't be any more blatant than that. And what I will do, let's go for Lost Mine just for lols. This Minotaur's making the best noises ever. So I lost 4 swordsmen there, but I got 3,000 gold. So in my head, does that really work out? I gained 600, didn't I? Roughly. But I'm going to leave off on that. Because if I end the year... Oh, bugger. Oh no, we've done it. Hurrah. I was going to say, we had the thing where you could reduce the swordsman by 100. Great stuff. Dumb. Now look at my battle. Take that, bitches. And what will seem really overpowered then, in about 15 years' time, will be absolutely left cowering. There you can see the scouting continues on. So this is very much the game in a nutshell. I can't really shout more about it, to be fair. It plays much more like a board game as opposed to a computer game in a way. And I don't see that as a bad thing whatsoever. I find it quite interesting that you can really take this game on different journeys, essentially, depending on what you would like to do with it. I can't do any food in there. And as you can see, I'm trying to review it, but actually I'm quite busy trying to still play. So I think that says a great deal, actually, about what the fact that I like this game. Gold, more peasants. Do we? Oh, 3,000. Sorry, my fault. Here we go. Battles are getting a wee bit bigger, and that's the really only downside, is that when you've got massive battles side by side, everything ends up being into a bit of a weird shuffle fest, and it doesn't feel like it's optimized in any way, shape or form to actually be good. The battle system has kind of sorted itself out a little bit, I would be way happier with recommending this game, like, just generally. Let's do that, because actually that will give me quite a bit more food, won't it? Let's continue on. Let's see if I can get to the end. See the flashing ones of the ones that have got the extra stuffy wafsh. I've not actually come across a Hydra in the previous game, so I'm a bit like, dare I? Monasteries give paladins. You can see paladins take themselves from knights, so I'll grab one of those. Can you see immediately how, like, now battles are becoming a little bit more awkward? So I lost a knight and a swordsman. Okay. So the Scroll of Shrinking, if I remember from before, halves everyone's health on one side compared to the other. So let's... do one of those. Minotaur in on the act, and an archer as well. So there you go. Can you see that the whole shuffle back and forth, shuffle back and forth? If I had more of a "this is how you do it" type thing, I think I'd be a little bit more happier with like a complete whole recommendation for the game. We'll have that. Okay, so level 40, it said this, so each time I get to this point it goes, this will be a tough year, and you're thinking, so... do that. I need one more on the old front there. Oh, I left to do. Oh, hello. And that's what I mean by how quickly things can change. Although that is a way harder year than what I've had in previous ones, so I feel slightly pleased that that hasn't been too bad. So all my archers survived, but I do need to kind of replenish everything else. So let's do this. And then you'll get one of these like on top, and this is what I mean by like the extreme turn of the tide. And I can't tell if I've overextended myself beforehand or not. And I just won't bother getting a Minotaur. Another druid. Yes, no 1k. Because like these types of things, I can deal with these types of battles. Right. Oh, I lost my exorcist. Bugger. Your demons will not be exorcised anymore. Alright, let's get an archer back in again. Another paladin in. So again, I'm going to look grossly overdone here. But as you saw earlier, there is no such thing as grossly overdone. Watch this fail. To be fair, this is still quite low numbers for what they started throwing at me on normal mode. So I feel moderately like this could be okay. Moderately. Yeah, no. So that whole spell thing stopped that Hydra from being a right bitch, so that's good. That really has worked out for me. Okay, year 4. Here we go. So you can start to see how it's starting to now fall off the screen. So, the final battle. Shit. And that's what I mean. This could all go horribly wrong. Okay. So how many people have we got? 29 swordsmen, 50. Right, so I'm going to call on my peasants. And I'll turn those into tigers. Going to be all right, maybe. Not. Not. Oh no! Oh, I held out for 50 years, but alas, no. And that is 50 years. Literally 50 years. Available on Steam. As I say, it's got its shortcomings, and I think that kind of showed it there. But if you get it right, I'm sure actually that will be quite rewarding to get to the end of it. So thank you very much for the developer for sending over a copy. It was something that was on my radar anyway from what I saw with the future releases of stuff on Steam. So I was going to grab it anyway. And I will give this like a 1.5 thumbs up, because there's some things that I wish weren't the case, but they sadly are. But overall, still a good game. You guys all take care. Thank you very much for watching here on High Playing Games, and look forward to seeing you all again soon. Bye for now.